seeing the futures. Ooh. Okay, taking a look at some receiving yard totals for second-year wide receivers. Kenny, let's start with Justin Jefferson, 1325.5. What do we think, over or under?
Yeah, I'm going to go with over. Look, this guy had 14,000 yards on the dot last year. Kirk Cousins is a guy that just consistently produces 4,000 yards, and he is just so full of talent. I think that he's going to continue to get better and better as he gets into his second year in the NFL. And the biggest thing here is I'm just not really, worried about Chad Beebe. I'm not worried about Irv Smith Jr., Kyle Rudolph no longer in the mix, BC Johnson. I mean, the only real competitor for targets here is going to be Adam Thielen, and he really kind of had a down year last year. He's very talented. I love Adam Thielen, but it's really just a two-man passing attack with a guy that's throwing a lot. Dalvin Cook's going to get some receptions as well. But Justin Jefferson, it's a high number, but it's one that I'm going to take the over on just because I see him getting even better, getting more targets than he did last year, and it was a monster year for him in 2020.
Geoff, you want to take the over too?
I actually don't. I know the natural inclination here for people is going to be seeing, a great young receiver in Justin Jefferson, averaged almost 16 yards per reception last year. We got to go over, but I'd rather go under here. I mean, this is just a massive total for a wide receiver to hit. I mean, that's the biggest thing. When the totals get this high, really got to think, is this the perfect storm that's going to hit here? And I don't really think it is. The Vikings last year, they were a team whose defense really tanked late in the year, and it led to a lot of Kirk Cousins' high passing performances. Cousins over his last 7 games attempted 35 or more passes in all of those games. Now, you've got Mike Zimmer as a head coach. This is not a coach who wants to get into run and gun shootouts. This is a coach who wants to run the ball. He legitimately fired one of his OCs midseason because of that. So I think you're going to see the Vikings revert a little bit. I think their defense will be a little bit better this year. And look, they've got some weaker games against the Lions and things. So I think Cousins' pass attempts could go down here. Jefferson could absolutely hit this. He is that good a receiver, but this is just too big a total for me to want to take the over. So I'm on the under on this one.
All right, Geoff, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. His total is set at 1,500. Now, Lamb had the pleasure of catching a pass from 4 different quarterbacks while playing just over 4 games with QB1 Dak Prescott. Obviously, a lot of turmoil at the QB position, but still he went off. So what do we think? Is he going over this mark?
I think I'm gonna give CeeDee Lamb the benefit of the doubt this one and go over. Again, we have a much lower total on this one, and that obviously right off the bat makes it appealing. I mean, we have another first round wide receiver from the 2020 draft, and if Dak Prescott stays in at quarterback for the Cowboys last year, Jessie, I think this is a pretty easy over. Like, he would have hit this mark easily, probably by week 15, if you just look at what he did when Dak Prescott was in at quarterback, 2 100-yard receiving games. Now, look, maybe the Dallas offense, our defense gets a little bit better here too, but you've got some injury issues with Amari Cooper, not fully recuperated from an ankle injury. You've got Dak back. CeeDee Lamb is a player who hit over 900 yards last year, like you mentioned, with Andy Dalton, with the Nooch, Ben DiNucci throwing him the ball. So it was actually a pretty good year despite all of the controversy or just the issues at quarterback the Dallas had. I think you got to give CD the benefit of the doubt. He's probably only going to get more integrated in this offense. And again, the total is low enough that I think you should be on the over on this one.
All right, Kenny, are you on the over?
Yeah, you forgot about Grape Gilbert as well. Look, I think that this is a great bet here. You got to take the over. Geoff laid it out. I mean, Dak Prescott is going to return, and if he were healthy all season long, CeeDee Lamb would really, I think, be pushing towards maybe Justin Jefferson's total. I think he would have been that, vital in the offense. Here's the bottom line with the Dallas Cowboys. They threw the 12th most in football last year at over 61%, and that was with Grape Gilbert and the Nooch and Andy Dalton playing quarterback and, Quincy Carter or something. Look, this is a team that's going to throw the ball. It's a high-powered, explosive offense. You saw Ezekiel Elliott last year not have as good of a season as many would have hoped. I think that this is a team that's just going to go continue to go further and further towards the pass, lean on it. You have so many great receivers. Why not? And yeah, that does make it harder to get over 1,000 yards. But CeeDee Lamb's the guy they invested draft capital in last year for a reason. He's very talented. He showcased it last year. Down the stretch, one of those guys that got the ball in big situations. So I think that he's going to be trusted a lot by Dak Prescott. I think he goes over this total. It's a very, very low number.
All right, let's talk T. Higgins. 1,050.5, Kenny. Now, his season was maybe overshadowed by Justin Jefferson's, But Higgins quietly put up great numbers. He finished with the 908 receiving yards, 67 receptions. Now, both of those ranked third amongst rookies behind Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. So do we think he goes over this mark this year?
It's a tough one for me. I did want to take it, right? Because, 908 yards last year. Now he's going to get a starting quarterback back. He's going to get the guy that he hooked up with so many times in college. But look, here's the thing. Jamar Chase, he's there now. And I think that this is a team that, they're going to continue to build towards a passing offense under Joe Burrow. But, T. Higgins did get 108 targets last year and didn't even produce 1,000 yards with them. I think he's a good receiver. I think that he's going to be a big part of this offense, but I think that he's going to be overshadowed by Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase is going to be the guy that benefits the most from Joe Burrow coming back. And sadly, I do think that that's going to lead me to take the under here. As much as I want to take the over because I like that college connection, can't do it.
All right, you taking the under, Geoff?
No, I'm going to go over on this one. Look, T. Higgins, he had, you look at what he did last year, 908 yards. And again, another wide receiver, who really suffered from poor QB play late in the year after Joe Burrow went down, but still produced a solid season. The thing about Higgins is he really only played 14 games last year. He only played 15 snaps in week 1, wasn't a part of the offense, didn't even see a target. And then week 17 or week 16 for the 16th game for the Bengals, he got injured early, only played 3 snaps. So his 900 yards, Jesse, came in 14 games. When you factor in a healthy Joe Burrow, the fact that the Bengals probably going to be a little bit more run and gun with the extra Jamar Chase, they should see their pass attempts stay very steady. And then you have T. Higgins, who just really looked really good. He looked like a big body guy who could be a wide receiver 1. I think the targets are going to be there for Higgins. You look at what he did with Burrow, his production really set him on the over path here. I think he cracks 1,000 yards, and I would be on the over for this one as well. Very similar to the Lamb prop.
All right, finally, we're in the second round of our Madden playoff bracket today, gentlemen. We're going to have Sims at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So, Geoff, who is your favorite play on today's Madden slate? Someone that you think that people need to have in their lineups?
Yeah, so for me, Jesse, just looking at the slate, obviously we got, some matchups coming up. Obviously, we're in the sim playoffs as well. And everybody should get in these classic contests because they're a lot bigger, obviously, too. But I'm just going to say you should be playing Deshaun Watson. I mean, that is the dude that obviously carried to Houston Texans to the second round. They're the 7th seed. They had the big upset. But they're also going up against a Chargers team who, the Chargers, I think, were a little bit surprised that they ended up as the number 1 seed in our sim season. So I think Deshaun Watson actually has a very good chance at carrying the Texans to another upset here. So that's the guy you just got to play.
Kenny, what do you think?
It's going to sound kind of contradictory, but I like 2 plays here. The first one is Emmanuel Sanders at $5,100. Guy's been a monster the last 2 sims. Very, very big part of that Saints offense. But look, here's the one that I really like. Don't mess around. Okay, take the Seahawks defense at $2,900. They've got Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams who force a ton of fumbles. They're hot. And yes, the Saints, they did upset the Packers, but in the process, Drew Brees was sacked like a million times. Bad throws. He fumbled the ball. Drew Brees decided to run the ball multiple times. I think that the Seahawks defense is definitely the call. Don't get cute. Don't try to pay down. Just get the Seahawks defense. I don't mind taking Traquan Smith and Emmanuel Sanders, but the Seahawks defense should get 10 or more points.